of good over evil. Certainly the triumph over sin and death. Those are the ones that we're familiar with. But there is one more triumph of the cross which is vitally important to the way you and I live and to the way in which you and I love. And that is it's also a triumph over useless, meaningless suffering and pain. Before Jesus died on the cross, pain made no sense. It even drove Jesus to the point at which he said, "My God, why have you abandoned me?" And many people, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, cry out to God in the same way. But when you think about the cross itself, the cross is an instrument of great suffering. Not too many more ways can you be put to death that involve more pain than the cross. But at the same time, the cross became a symbol. The symbol of what? The symbol of unconditional, sacrificial, redemptive love. When Jesus said, "Take up your cross daily and follow me," usually we spend our life trying to get rid of our crosses, don't we? But with the death and resurrection of Jesus, there is a meaningful way in which we can lift up our own personal cross. And just like Jesus on his cross, make it redemptive of others. Let me give you an example. The man who first brought me to the Philippines was a doctor who studied at Santo Tomas. I was a very young priest when he brought me here. And he and I became friends, although he was not Catholic. He was a Christian. And he believed very, very strongly in abortion at that time as well. And I would argue with him. I would argue religion. I would argue theology. I would argue about abortion. And my goal and motive was to convert him. Not only the way he thought, but to convert him materially that he would become a Catholic. That was my goal. Then in December of 1983, he was diagnosed at the age of 41 with pancreatic cancer. It was December 5th. I remember it well. And I visited him in the hospital, and I promised I would ask friends of mine to pray for him. These friends of mine who prayed for him were involved in a Catholic movement in the United States at that time called Cursillo. And Cursillo is parish-oriented. And I called about 10 people. And they said, "What's his room number?" And I told the room number. "What's his full name?" I told the full name. You know how sometimes we say, "I'll pray for you"? And they did. But they did something unexpected of them when they prayed. And after they did what was unexpected of them when they prayed, they each sent him a gift card. I got a call on December 8th, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, from George's Protestant minister. And he said, "George wants to see you immediately." And so after I said Mass on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, I went down and visited his room. And the first thing he said to me is, "Father Bob, I want to become a Catholic." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, not because of anything you ever told me." I said, "Why do you want to become a Catholic?" He said, "Let me read some of these notes to you." And one note said, "I know that you're going through a rough time, a lot of pain right now. So tonight, I will pray for you, and while doing so, I will sleep on the floor instead of my bed." He said, "Imagine, someone doesn't even know me is doing that for me." He said, and another person said, "I know that you probably have a lot of pain during the day. So I'm going to put a little stone in my shoe. And every time I walk and I feel a little bit of pain, I'm going to remember that you're feeling a lot of pain. And I will pray for you." Another woman sent him, George didn't think very much of the rosary. And another woman sent saying, "I will say the rosary tonight for you in cruciform." And he said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, well, during the 15 minutes it takes to say the rosary, she will extend her arms like this, and she will say the rosary. You ever try to say the rosary this way? About 5 minutes into it, your arms feel dead, like they're able to fall off. And she united that with the cross of Jesus in praying for George. He said to me, I want to become a Catholic because I want to become a part of that. Any community of people that would witness to me in such a powerful way, and yet they don't even know me. He said, that's love. That's real. I want to become a part of it. I brought him into the church on the 16th of December. They had sent him home. I confirmed him, heard his confession, gave him his first communion, and he died on Christmas night. A Catholic. In God's grace. All because people simply did what was unexpected. What's your cross? Do you know anyone who has one? Next time you visit the hospital, you see someone with a nasal gastric tube down their throat, very uncomfortable. Ask them to take 5 minutes of what they are experiencing and unite with the cross of Christ and become redemptive. Offer it for somebody on that floor who might be dying and doesn't know God or is afraid of God. And such a huge difference that you can make in people's lives. Some crosses you choose, like the one who chose to sleep on the floor. Some crosses hit you like a broadside in life. You don't expect it. Some people's crosses are up there all the time. In a wheelchair, or going to chemotherapy, or radiation. You can take that cross and unite it for something or someone specific. What do they say? Life's the gift that we've been given. Love's the gift that we've been given. To give it all away and have it still. That's God's gift. What is your cross? For not all the crosses are on hills, the poet says, against the crimson sky. Not all the riven hands are pierced, nor all the pierced hearts die. We face 1,000 little deaths, that none may see or guess. What scarred wounds we hide beneath our body's loveliness. The little song that missed its way, love patient and unclean. Old scornful words whose memory still turns us sick with shame. The smile that whisked a scorpion's laugh. Gray eyes that did not heed the friend relied and leaned upon, who failed us in our need. No, not all the crosses are on the hills, but God, keep those in sight, who come back down from their personal Calvary with hands unscarred